So welcome to Module 3, Part 3 of the complete training, Family Constellation Virtual. Today we are going through the more challenging parts of the training. And that is, I'm going to share with you the screen. Hold on a sec. And that is personal development, unsolved emotions, and troubleshooting. So that's what you are in for today. And we see how much theory we are covering and incorporate some practical work as well, as we did yesterday. I think that was good, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always good. Very good. However, as you know, coming up is our first practicing workshop. We have to talk about that as well. I have to figure a date when we do it, and then we have 3 hours where we only practice family constellation. So, but back to our chart. So we are here and start talking about personal development. Because the work as a family constellation facilitator, as a coach, systemic and energy coach, can only be as good as you are, right? That's, of course, that's the main important thing. So in order to achieve or achieve the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, we call that personal development for the sake of this course, right? Personal development, as I can see it, most important for this work we are talking about is a couple of rules that you need to, focus on. First of all is you can only give what you have, right? See what you know and find what was previously in your possession. So what does that mean? If we look at it very closely, you can only give what you have, right? So you can only give as in your work, in your constellation work, in your counseling work, you can only give to your client what you have already received from somewhere else. It's like in the family constellation. This comes from the teachers or from your own life experience, from your family, and you can pass it on to your client, right? So as more as you've been able to receive, as more you can give. And the work is quite challenging, as you see with clients. There is often a problem in actually receiving, yeah. And for you, this must be an open book, so to speak. You are an open vessel to receive. And how do you receive? With having no doubt. Doubt is the enemy. When you're doubting something, you cannot receive it. Yeah. So whatever you encounter during the training, either in the teaching modules or in a workshop, or in your own work, or when you read something, and there is this, this oh really, this sensation of doubt coming up. Be very aware of it, yeah, because you are in this state of being you are not able to receive. And when you cannot receive, you cannot give. That doesn't mean that you're supposed to believe everything. We are not talking about belief here at all. Nothing needs to be, it's like in yoga. It's not a belief system. You can experience it all yourself. Nothing that is taught here, or what you see, or what is coming up in workshops, is something you need to believe in. You can experience it directly. The way to not come into the state of doubt is neither to believe nor to disbelieve. You understand? Belief and disbelief is both is the flip coin of the coin, which is called doubt. Yeah. So nobody asks you to believe anything, but I ask you at the same time to not disbelieve anything. No. And you know how easy it is. We say, "Oh, that's unbelievable." Sometimes shout that out, and we are actually quite excited, right? When we think that's unbelievable. But if you take it literally, it has nothing to do with belief. Hmm? It is something we can discover and we can experience for ourselves. Otherwise, it wouldn't be worth teaching, and you wouldn't want to possess it, and you wouldn't want to give it to your clients. Yeah, never ever believe something and think you own it and then you give it away. You can only give away what you can only give what you have. Right? Okay. See what you know. So that's the other thing. You can only observe in a family constellation a dynamic that you know of. That's clear, isn't it? You cannot observe anything in a family constellation that you don't. We're coming back to this issue of intuitives. Yeah. That's a completely different work and has nothing to do with family constellation work. You are learning the orders of love and the dynamics, body language, and so forth, everything we have covered so far. And that's what you know. And then you can see it in a constellation when it comes up. If you wouldn't have learned it before, you don't see it, obviously, right? So this is why the teaching content is important. It's important that you really learn it and that you are, that you remember it, everything, and repeat it and make it really embedded deep into your subconscious. So I can wake you up in the night at 3 and ask you, what is the third order of love? And you would wake up and scream, what? Anyhow, that's okay. You don't need to answer that now. So that is actually what I want to emphasize on, that you have all this knowledge, and when you work, it's like it's forming the glass vessel, but the work itself on you are empty. That doesn't mean the knowledge is not there. That means the knowledge is the vessel that is containing the emptiness. And the emptiness can be filled with the actual field work, with what's coming from the field. And what previous was in your possession is only thing that you can find, right? So when you think you have lost something, then you know you have possessed it before. That's great. So you know it was there. You just need to find it again, right? So nothing is really lost. So if you think after a while, oh my gosh, I'm not quite sure how that was, you will find it. You have the recordings, you have the books, you have your notebook. Just find it again. It was in your possession. If it wasn't in your possession, then it wasn't part of the training, and you probably won't need it. So this is kind of the rules or the guidelines, so to speak, in which you work, right? And you are never finished with your personal development, yeah? Until the day you leave this body, and after, we will cover that in module 4, you are not finished with personal development. So you might as well just start now, because it will continue anyhow. And everything you do, every single workshop you are taking part in, every book you read, every meaningful conversation you have with the same spiritual seekers like you are, everything will be part of your personal development. It can be really casual. It can happen at a cuppa with, when having a cuppa with a friend. As I said before, my spiritual teachers were my animals, and the trees. They taught me a lot. So it can be anywhere. Like in Sanskrit, guru says that from darkness to light. That doesn't mean it's a person. It can be a rock that leads you from the darkness to the light. Yeah. So everything that comes along your way is meant to be there to guide you. Pick it up, look at it without doubt, and see if you can take anything from it with which you can then pass on later. Knowing yourself or self-realization is the way and the destiny. This is all about self-realization, the whole life, or not only this life. And there's a lot to it. And every step on the way is already self-realization, right? So it's not self-realization, it's not a goal. How can I put it? Something like a city. You're not on a journey to a city and you walk by foot, and you know the city is 500 kilometers away, and you are 400. Then you take a next step, and it's 450 kilometers away, and you're just walking because you want to go to the city. That's not self-realization. Every step you take is already realized self, if it is with the intent to self-realization and you take the effort, meaning taking the step. And because self-realization is never finished even, so that's the same same situation. Every step counts. Anybody not quite sure what I'm talking about, just raise your hand now so I can clarify. Wonderful. Wonderful. We're all on the same page. Awesome. Okay, let's see what comes next. Ways to personal growth. Obviously, keep participation in our workshops. I would say at least 6 a year, because they're only 3 hours and there are only 3 constellations or 4 constellations in each workshop, so that you are continuously observing dynamics and the process of healing. And you never really get astray, because when you're on your own path, which is excellent, you know, you sometimes need kind of like a guideline that guides you the path. It's like the side, or what's the English term, the planks for cars on the state highway. The bumpers? No, how are they called? Curbs, something like that. Yeah. If you think about that, then this work, like the workshops, for example, are the curbs that hold you on the road, right? So you are not going straight down the road through the bush or through the paddocks, you know, on your own path, seeing something which you want to achieve. So you have like this bumpers on the side that keeps you, you know, bouncing you back onto the right track to stay true to family constellation in the method of Bert Hellinger. Because it's easy, you know, to get. It's very excited. It's very excited. It's very exciting, this work and this path, and you do so much other things, and you want to combine everything to it, and which is in general good. But then it could be quite overwhelming that you lose away from the true family constellation, which you see so many people out there performing family constellation. They are not in the method of Bert Hellinger. Attend the supervision workshops. You might have seen on the website that I have put 2 supervision workshops up for next year. They are designed for the trainees who come out of the training and are certified, as well as other facilitators from all walks of life and from everywhere in the world, because there is a great desire, once you are, you know, facilitating yourself, to have competent discussions about it, because you will see things that makes you wonder what you have seen. And it's also good to have a refresher about the work. So it's another kind of safety net or bumper, road bumper at the side to keep you on track. Continue reading uplifting literature. I mean, I can't really provide you with much, because there's so many literature out there that is dealing with personal growth and spirituality and enlightenment and everything in between. So I mean, you are all here because you are somewhat on the way. So I'm sure you have found already a foot into this field of this literature and find your own. On the Q&A for trainees, where the recommended books are from Bert Hellinger, I have also started to list a couple of books that I find they are very mainstream and that I found really life-changing. So you could start there or take it from there and find something else. I have probably read in my life at least 100 books, if not more, about spirituality, and I've met wonderful teachers in the books that you never meet in person, maybe. And every book has kind of ignited another light, so to speak, in my consciousness. And so this is a very, very personal way. This is why it's personal growth, personal development. So I'm not sitting here and tell you what to do, but I urge you to not stop growing. Yeah, that would be important for yourself and for the work. Of course, there are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful personal growth retreats, from yoga, meditation, Tai Chi, Qigong, to I don't know, writers retreats, you name it, whatever you fancy. Make it a habit to find a retreat a year. So that's what I do. I'm looking for a retreat a year. It can be online. You don't need to travel. That's what I like to achieve. To go to one retreat a year. It's basically mainly a yoga retreat normally. To have this this wonderful immersion into these energies with others, like-minded people, which keeps you going. For a daily routine, there are lots of things you could do. The more typical things are meditation and yoga, things like that, but they can be also unusual. You can have a daily routine of a prayer or a chant. Could be short, brief. It could be a blessing of the food. Whatever really is close to your heart, apply that. What is different probably from now is the intent. You can now not only pray or meditate or bless for whatever is in your mind, but also put the intent to it that it should serve yourself and others towards more freedom and happiness. Yeah. And if you just add that to your actions as an intent, it has a great ripple effect. In yoga, we do that with the chant Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. That's the same words, just in Sanskrit. Intention is everything. The universe is well versed in resonating with your intentions. And if they are pure and coming from the heart and are for a higher vibration, then it will always be heard. Okay, let's talk about lifestyle choices. So personal growth is definitely not possible without, oh, I love that, Nam Shakti. Look at your backdrop. It looks like your hair is blowing in the wind. That's wonderful. Okay, so good lifestyle choices. We are just talking about that, and whoop, there the sky appears. So the people who know me, they know that I am a great Verfechter, advocate of compassion for animals. That is actually a lifestyle choice, right? You need to be aware of it. We are talking that in module 4 about the frequency of emotions and the state of consciousness. And without conscious decisions regarding your lifestyle, your personal growth can only go so far, right? Because the denser energies of not so optimal lifestyle choices will hold you back and down, and you can do nothing about it. Yeah, because that's just the law of nature and universal law. So when you think of lifestyle choices, think of everything that takes your connection to pure consciousness away, which is any kinds of drugs, addiction, alcohol, smoking, medicine, prescription pills abuse, and of course food, right? So think for yourself, and I would like to do for you to do a homework to this lifestyle choices. Make a list in your notebook of the choices you do now on one side of the page, and how you want to change them on the other column. And then another column, what time frame you give yourself to do so. Yeah. And in the lifestyle choices, you put in anything you feel you are addicted to, food, drinks, daily routine, maybe even, everything that comes to your mind. And then in the next column, you think about, you can contemplate about that. You have as much time as you need. Contemplate about it and think about if you really meditate on it and look into your heart, find out if you find the urge there to change it. And then put that in the column, the next column, when, what time you, how much time you give yourself to change it. So the ultimate, you can also put sexual contact in there, whatever comes to your mind. Yeah. Obviously, this is all very personal, and I give you just examples here, right? So, for example, you can choose that you don't drink alcohol anymore. To have a clear to have at all times access to your consciousness, so to speak, unfogged. Right? It has also other meanings. Everything we are coming close to module 4. Everything we will cover in module 4. And then you could write in the next column what else, what is, because drinking alcohol is also a social event often. So you can think about what kind of non-alcoholic drink I can replace it with. Yeah. If I feel the need to, go to a party or meet with friends or even at home with a partner or so. And there are lots of choices. First, for example, kombucha is a great drink, very refreshing, healthy, is a fermented drink, has a slightly little bit of alcohol, but not enough to cloud your consciousness. And it makes a nice, makes a nice difference to the water you or the herbal tea you would otherwise drink. There are non-alcoholic alternatives. There's lovely beer out there. I like one from Russia, which has no alcohol, but all the taste of the beer. Same for wine, same for bubbles. There are organic alternatives. There is much you can find. So check it out and see what you want to do for yourself. That would be drinks. I don't think, is anybody smoking? No, well, we are over that. That was like 20 years ago. Everybody would have raised their hands. I'm so glad it's not an issue anymore. I'm really concerned about the folks who are smoking, who are going to this vapor machines. That seems to be a step in the completely wrong direction. So obviously that is also just serving the addiction. to suck on something, and it's definitely not healthy with all the flavors in there. So that will be part of it. So if you don't have that, then that. If you use drugs, and even like spiritual drugs, to come to altered states of consciousness, I urge you to reflect on that and see how you want to deal with that in the future. If you're using regular prescription drugs, obviously I'm not giving you advice in regards of that. I'm not a doctor, and this is not a consultation, but as more as you grow personally and heal aspects of your soul, as less you would probably find you would need any kind of medical assistant in your life. So be aware of that, and that if when you change, that you also change, start to look at what you are taking, if you still need that, right? Because change has a change in your personal development and personal growth will also inevitably change your body, as well as lifestyle choices will change also your body, right? So be aware that change can come, and then you just change everything that needs to be amended or adjusted or go with the change. Food is a very important choice, because you are what you eat. I think we all know that. And we not only are what we eat, we also are what we digest. And that's another whole nother thing. And we are not only digesting nutrition, so we are also digesting energy. We are taking on energies in our food. And the high vibrational energies of the plants are also resonating with us the best and bringing us to higher energies. However, the denser energies of animals, especially those raised for food, which suffer greatly, we are also digesting if we digest animal products, and that will keep our vibration low. And obviously, it doesn't contribute to compassion to animals. So the best lifestyle choice is a plant-based whole food diet. And that's not only its spiritual means, but it's also scientifically proven. If you want to know more about it, we might can catch up on that in our gathering next week. If you have not heard about it, maybe you want to take the week and do some research, and then I'm happy to talk to you about it. Because I also made a degree in plant-based nutrition, by the way, before I forget to mention that. Okay. So is there any other lifestyle choice I have forgotten to cover? Can you think of anything else?
Sleep.
Thank you, Kate. Sleep. So that is an interesting thing, because you think or you hear you need to have enough sleep, have enough sleep, have enough sleep. But as more you are consciously aware, as less sleep you need. So you will find yourself needing less sleep. You would be more tired and need more sleep in lower energies, in denser realms. But as higher you vibrate, as lesser tired you are, and as lesser sleep you need. So I cannot say, I probably cannot say, I can only speak for myself. I used to sleep about 9 hours, was about right for me, and then it became 8, and then it became 7, and I'm very happy with 6 at the moment, or 6 hours of sleep. That doesn't mean that you don't, like to have a sleep in on Sunday and invite your partner or your dog or whatnot in your bed and snooze a little bit. But like in the means of needing sleep, it will be less when you go on the path of self-realization. Sleep. Maybe also physical activities is another part of lifestyle choice. So who of you is running, jogging, running? Ale? Mariella?
I don't do a lot of running. I do long walks, but I'm trying to run. So I force myself to do very short. I do very long walks and I run for short
Yeah.
time, and then I start again. So I'm getting there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's good. So from the point of view of overall health and spirituality, I'm referring to Ayurvedic principles. Have you heard of Ayurveda? Okay. So shall I explain? Probably we don't have time for that. I'm not explaining that. It's an ancient wisdom about lifestyle choices and health. And there's a recommendation that you never do activities that makes your oh gosh, I'm missing the English word, an anaerobe, that you're coming into a state where you are not burning oxygen. What's the right word? So when you're puffing and panting, for example, you come out of breath, right? That's a state when you are anaerobe. It's a German term. Cycling. So you want to stay with your activities at a point before you start to sweat and puff and pant, right? So long walks are excellent, right? Jogging is in this regards not excellent because you're exhausting yourself, right? However, short spurts where the heart starts to pump is also good, but they're really short, right? So it's before you actually puff and pant and before you sweat, really sweat. You can get warm, obviously, but like I used to train for marathons and crazy in my 30s. And it doesn't do any good. You know the guy who was delivering the message to the town called Marathon died, no, when he delivered the message. So it's not a healthy thing to do. It's just a little bit of a crazy lifestyle that normal people aspiring to become athletes. So yeah, long walks are excellent. Bike riding is excellent. Going on hikes, going in the bush is even better. Being in nature as much as possible. Being somewhere where you are not exposed to your human mind, right? Because it's easier to stay with yourself and realize self and higher consciousness when you are somewhere where the mind has not a footprint. For example, in the nature. So that is where trees are starting to contact you, or birds, or that's where you actually start to connect on a much deeper level than before with your true self through the nature. So that's a great lifestyle choice. And you can get a dog to do that if you feel you need company for these walks. So that's an excellent lifestyle choice. Anything else? Yes, Mariella?
I would say the personal environment when it comes to friends, right? Our group of friends make a big difference in our...
Very good. Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Mariella. So that's something that you will also notice when you are developing your spiritual self and going more on the path of self-realization, that you're probably not happy and satisfied with friends you used to have, because they are not going on the same path maybe, and it will feel a little bit, you know, shallow conversations all of a sudden, and that's a good sign. And I urge you, don't hold on to these relationships. They will only try to hold you back, obviously, right? And you are feeling torn, you know, between loyalty and your urge for self-growth, right? And be absolutely assured, on the other side there are waiting other people who are on the same page with you, right? And this is also like when we do the training here, and we have the workshops and supervision workshops, and we meet each other, and we, you know, we stay in the same group, kind of, which is lovely. So we can assure that we are, you know, growing together here. Yeah, thank you. Friends is a really good point. And probably also work. You know, who knows? You may want to change your life, and look for more fulfilling work when you go on the path of personal growth. These are all signs that you are on the path. Okay, so what is hindering us in going on the path is unsolved emotions. And I have listed here 6 of the most important steps, or how can I put it, aspects of unsolved emotions in oneself that will and needs to be overcome in order to do the work as a family constellation facilitator, but also in order to lead a happy and free life. And the first one is dark night of the soul. Hands up who have heard of it. Okay, so it's good. We're going to talk about that. 2 of you have heard and 3 not. Fine. So that's the first thing. Then the next thing is black spots, or some call it also black holes. Who have heard of that? Very good. Nobody? Ah, Tracy. Wonderful. Okay. The third one is, we all heard of that, family entanglements. Needs to be listed. The fourth one is conditioned beliefs. Conditioned beliefs are also unsolved emotions. The fifth one is trapped emotions. Who has heard of that term? Tracy and Namshakti? Okay. And then I wonder if any one of you have heard of lacatosis. No. Fine. Nice. I can surprise somebody here. Very good. Lacatosis. So let's go into the first one, which is the dark night of the soul. So everyone who is earnestly seeking the truth in capital letters, meaning on the path of self-realization and self, and on any spiritual path, is inevitably experiencing the so-called dark night of the soul. This is a term that has been formed by some clerical monks in the 18th century, I think, 17th or 18th century. But it is actually accurate for all spiritual seekers, has nothing to do with the church. The dark night of the soul is a period of utter spiritual desolation, disconnection, and emptiness, in which one feels separated from the divine, totally lost, hopeless, and without meaning in life. Signs are sleeplessness, sleepless nights, fear or even horror that overcomes all of a sudden. It feels like a depression is not a depression and cannot be medicated. So if you would take antidepressiva, they would not take any of the signs away. You questioning your meaning in life. Nothing brings joy. No one can help. And it's a completely collapse in values. That's what is called the dark night of the soul. You can also experience one or all of the followings. You might have visitors in the night. You might have out-of-body experiences. You might see or hear signs, especially in the night, which all come to but these all, as frightening as they might appear, they all come to you to guide you through this phase. So the fear or the horror that is encountered in a dark night of the soul is actually a guide. Yeah, it's just that we cannot see that in this very moment, but soon after, hopefully. So what are we doing? First of all, knowing is power. So by knowing that there is such a thing as a dark night of the soul, and it will inevitably at one stage come to you when you are not stopping on your path of self-realization, then you know you have to go through. You have to go through. Nobody can take it away. Nobody can make it better. You cannot procrastinate it. If it's there, it's there. And the only way out is through. Right? And it is absolutely okay and very much recommended to ask for help, for spiritual help. So you can do that in any tradition that you might want to ask for help, in a prayer or in a chant or in a meditation or in a book or in a dream, or wherever you ask for your spiritual helpers, ask and they will be there. You can ask your teacher spiritually to guide you and they will be there, right? So what's on the other side? After going through the dark night of the soul, you'll experience a change of perception. You will experience a lightness in your own being, and you will have new goals and motivations. You will feel a strong connection to the divine and a new sense of self. So it's very beautiful. It's very, very beautiful, and it's totally worth it. So once you come to this dark night of the soul, it might just a night, it might be several nights, it might be a longer period of time, but it will be something that you are going through and you will come out on the other end. Question? Okay. All right. Black spots are also black holes. So every aspect in yourself that you have not looked at and brought into the light is called a spiritual black spot or a black hole. So when you're working with a client and the client has a similar issue like you have, you will not be able to see it. That's because it's a black spot. You can only see, remember, what you know. And when you are not, when you haven't unraveled that part in your journey, yeah, you can't see it in others. So you basically cannot help the client neither, right? So as less black spots or black holes you have, as better work you can do. So when we are sharing family constellation work, we want to make sure that we have cleared our path. Yeah. And that there are no black spots left. And that might take a while because we have lots. It's just how life, is. We are just gather. We seem to attract it like light the flies or something like that. Seems to be part of the journey here on Earth to gather as many traumas as possible to I don't know, to veil truth. So if you have committed to this path, then you will go and you will find your black spots and you will go work with them and clear them, right? Obviously, our method of choice is family constellation, but there are others, right? Of course, there are other methods. So yes, so the black spots will be cleared as a result of continuing with the work of self-realization. So you don't even need to kind of focus on finding black spots, like make it your new thing. You just continue on your path and don't shy away from anything that comes up, right? And everybody you meet on your way with this intention of self-realization will be a mirror and will show you your black spots. And when you meet people and you have a resistance and you don't like them or something, I guarantee you they are mirroring an aspect in yourself that you don't like at yourself, because it's a black spot. You don't want to look at it. And when we don't want to look at things, we are dismissing them. It's like doubt. You know, we are dismissing it, and then we don't need to look at it because we don't like it. Yeah. So taking this mirror, turn it around, look what's behind. Who's behind the mirror? That is the goal. Every time when you attend a family constellation workshop, another aspect of yourself will be revealed and black spots will be cleared. You can be assured of that. And that doesn't mean that you have to constellate yourself. Every time you are a representative, the field, as you know, it's not by chance choosing representatives. Every time you are chosen as a representative, something, an aspect in yourself will be cleared, lifted through the work. That's the beauty of this work. Okay, I think that's that. Any questions to this part? All good? All clear? Okay. Family entanglement. Now we are familiar with that. Family entanglement is what we work on family constellation when we are actually constellating. So this is why this work also, the path of self-realization that we have chosen with the method or modality of family constellation will then also make sure that family entanglements are looked at, which other paths may not have, right? Which is great. So entanglements are a form of black spots, but these are the black spots that you normally only find with family constellation. Because they are deep rooted in the ancestral system. And they are especially important to be looked at and cleared when starting to work with family constellation for others, because otherwise, as you know, black spot, you can't see in the family constellation what you haven't cleared in yourself. And the most common entanglements are with or through the mother relationship. So a success for the work is also a successful resolved relationship with the mother or with the mother lineage. So that is absolutely normal for somebody who's going this path and doing the work to work over and over and over again with the mother. It's not done with one constellation, right? And we will do another exercise for this today. And if I forget about it, please remind me. Yeah. So we can't do that often enough. Any question to this? All good? Okay. conditioned beliefs or belief systems. So we talked about that earlier in the modules, that we are all conditioned from the moment where the egg and the sperm collides. I'm inclined to say find themselves up till we are 7 years old. That's the time when in this so-called theta state of the consciousness, and that is where we are absorbing behaviors from trusted people around us without questioning it. And that is forming a belief, right? That's by definition a belief. So these belief systems we are growing up with, and which is fine. Life has chosen to work like this for a reason. But if you're on the path of self-realization, to freedom and happiness, and want to help others on your way as well, then they don't serve you anymore, right? Be absolutely clear, none of them serve you. And that is probably the most challenging part. If you embark on this path, all beliefs needs to be addressed and questioned when doing the work. I mean, all beliefs. Everything you have been told, from how the world works to that there's a bearded man in the heaven called God, right? Like everything you have learned in school about history, about everything, you know, nothing has to be trusted, because everything is a belief system. Some are smaller, some are larger. Some are forming a belief system that the whole world believes in. No? And some is just a smaller belief system where your family believes in, which we call a tradition then. It sounds so nice, a tradition. And it's all good for all the people out there, but not for you if you want to do the work. Yeah? Because you can only work in the little framework of your belief systems. Remember, I don't ask you to believe anything, and I don't ask you to disbelieve anything. And you can commit to that and say, yes, no, I won't do, yes, yes, but you cannot do anything about the conditioned beliefs, because they are conditioned. So you have to put extra effort in revealing conditioned belief systems and clearing them from your system. So that's another homework to do. And we can actually do an exercise now. It is all about you and you to find your own path. So what you do is you are creating your own system without beliefs, your system of experiences. And that is especially what is conditioned. Yeah. So when you're ready, let's make an exercise. Just center yourself, put your spine upright, take a sip of water. And then relax your shoulders down, feet on the ground. Take some deep breath into your belly. Gently close eyes. Deeply breathing in and out. With every breath, you sink deeper into your inner space of peace tranquility. With every breath, you become more peaceful, more calm, more relaxed. And all the thoughts of the day, any kind of excitements or worries, are just passing through your mind like clouds in the sky. And continuing with your deep breathing, you find yourself in your happy space, whatever shape or form it has, indoor or outdoors, high up in the mountains or at the sea. And you feel peaceful, calm. There's no signs of fear. And you see in the distance a little girl. And it comes closer. And while it comes closer, you see it is you. It is you when you were 7 years old. Look at your hair, your dress, the colors, your shoes. It is right in front of you. You're 7 year old. And you see that she is towing a cart. One of these old-fashioned wooden carts with squeegee wheels. And the cart is full of presents. And she comes to you and you ask the little girl, "What do you have in your cart?" She answers you, "These is all the beliefs that have been given to me from my family, from my closest relatives, my teachers, neighbors." And you ask her, "And what are you doing with them?" And she says, "I am carrying them with me wherever I go." And you say to your little self, "Shall we have a look at them? What's in there?" And she said, "I don't know. I have never looked in it." And you ask her, "Shall we open them now?" And she says, "Oh, yes. Together we can open them." So you go with your little girl by the hand to the cart and fetch the biggest presents of them all. And you're opening them up, this present up, and take out what's in there. Look at it from all sides. And then you take this content of the present and hold it close to your heart. And it is being absorbed through your skin into your heart. And the wrapping you give the little girl and say, "That's for you. You can burn it there on the pile. You don't need that anymore." So she puts the package away to the side. And you ask her, "Shall we look in the second gift?" And she says, "Oh, yes, yes, please." So you fetch the next biggest gift out of the card. And together you undo the bow and the wrapping, open the box, and take out the content. And this is another belief system. And you look at it with the little girl from all sides, and then you look at the little girl and say, do you need that still? And then the little girl said, no, I don't think so. I didn't even know it was there. And then you take the content of this box into your heart, where it's completely absorbed, and give the empty box to the little girl and tell her, put it on a pile so we can burn it later. And so you continue taking one gift out of the card, one after the other. Unwrap it, look at the content together with the little girl. And then take it into your heart, where it becomes one with your radiant light of the heart energy. And the wrapping goes to the little girl, and she piles it up. And so you continue. One gift after the other. And you look at the content of each package together with the little girl, very intense, curious. You look at it with the eyes of a scientist. Until you have discovered every part of the content before you take it into your heart. Now you're coming close to the last gifts. They are the smallest. And you unwrap them, look at them, take them into your heart. Let it become one with the radiant light of your heart. And put the last box on the pile. At the bottom of the card, there's a lighter. Take out the lighter. Give it to the little girl. Say, can you light the pile? She said, yes, I can. So she does. Puts on fire on the pile, and together you see how the wrapping burns nicely and becomes a small heap of ashes, which becomes one with the earth. And then you take the hand of the little girl and said, shall we stay together? And she said, yes. I'd love that. But what about my cart? You said, we don't need that anymore. There's nothing in. And relieved, she leaves the cart behind and goes with you, united and free and light and happy. And so you come back into your room, take a couple of deep breaths, and when you're ready and in your own time, you are opening your eyes. And then take your hands and wrap them, make them really hot. And really, really, really hot. And then, without the glasses, make a cup and put them over your eyes. And then do it again. Do it one more time. Breathe in and out. So, everybody back? Yeah? Okay, so please unmute everybody and then we have a bit of a check-in and you can share your experience. Shall we start with Tracy? Would you like to share what you have experienced in this meditation?
The feeling, the strongest sense that I was left with was, I would have loved to have had a me when I was 7 years old.
You would have loved to have a what?
Have a me. You know,
Yeah.
like had someone who did that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yes.
How amazing.
Yes, yes.
I actually had that at 7 years old, you know,
Yes,
someone
yes.
who had the capacity to help you, you
Yes.
know. That was the strongest feeling. It was quite nice hanging out with a little me for a little while.
Fantastic.
Mm.
Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you. Ale, what have you experienced?
I wanted to cry for a moment, and then I saw my child with a deep love and so much innocence, but facing a lot of fear as well at the same time. So
Mm-hmm. And how is it now?
good.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't easy.
Okay. Thanks for sharing. Nam Shakti, you want to share?
I kind of fell asleep for a second, which was nice. But it was nice. I feel like I cleared a lot. I feel like I'm constantly clearing stuff from my childhood. Yeah. I saw myself with like a lot of stuff. I grew up as an evangelist and the fear of the devil and the darkness and all that. So I have a different view of it now, but I feel like I still had some of it there and I was burning it, and you know, it connecting back to the earth was very releasing because the energy was like releasing, and I feel very connected to Gaia and God and Source, and it was nice. Thank
Wonderful.
you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing. Mariella?
Yes, it was, for me, it was beautiful. I know I was seeing the hard stuff, but it was lovely to hold her hand. It was interesting because I saw her first, saw myself as a 4-year-old, and then you said 7 years old. And I had like this conversation like, I have to hold this 7-year-old. So I had to make her grow up a little bit. So I kind of did. Anyway, I enjoyed it. It was all nice. I particularly the burning. The fire was a warm fire. Was a you know, a red light. I felt those were my emotions coming to light. Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing. Kate, what would you like to add?
I also groped a little bit for the 7-year-old me. I was 9 at first, and I was so fascinated by opening the gifts because I could identify what each one was. So
fantastic.
I got about 5 beliefs that I was like, wow, I didn't know I had that.
Can you share one of them or all 5?
Sure. One was that property is mine, like that we had property that we owned. That was the belief that like that was our property. I was on our property, you know?
Yeah.
That was one of them. One was that everything you believe is true. Everything everything written. So reading, if you can read, you'll know the truth because you can read it.
That's fascinating. Yes, yes, very good.
So I completely forgot to burn. You know, there was a pile of gift wrap over there, but we never burnt it.
That's why you can do that later.
I didn't get that far.
Yeah, that's fine. You can do that later.
And I will definitely do that exercise some more because it was really interesting to open them.
So you had 2. What were the other 3?
One was an animal, so it was a rabbit, and the belief was, or what I was told was, you know, I wasn't old enough to look after it, so you know, I couldn't have an animal because I couldn't look after it. Let's see, what was another one? I can't think of the other 2 right off the top of my head now.
Fun. No, great. Thank you for sharing. Yes, great. Okay, so of course you can do this anytime when you feel like it, and maybe you find more gifts. And then maybe you find an older child with a new pile of gifts that you want to burn then. So, trapped emotions, that is another form of energy that is in the way of spiritual growth. Who has heard of the emotional body? Tracy, Kate, Mariella, and Namshakti, everybody, Ale probably as well. So the emotional body is, and we go, these are all already topics that I'm touching that we are actually looking at in module 4. So the emotional body is a body that is close to the physical body, a little bit further apart, and this is where our emotions are actually residing, and some are trapped there. So emotions is translated, or not translated, it's an abbreviation from motion, energy in motion. That's an emotion, and it hints already that emotions should be something that are coming and going. Yeah. So the purpose of emotions on the emotional body is not to house particular emotions forever, but to let them come and go. No? They come, they stay there for a while, and then they go again, and other emotions come. So to merely experience emotion. But life is not as such. We are we are trapping emotions all the time. And how do we trap emotion? We trap emotions because when we are being off guard, when we are being caught off guard, and the severest form of being caught off guard is in trauma. So a sudden happening in our life that is creating an emotion unexpected, put it that way. And because we are caught off guard, it's trapped in the emotional body and cannot pass through, so to speak. The good news is that emotions who are trapped can also be so quickly trapped can also be released quite easily. It's just a matter of doing it actively. And there's a lovely, not a lovely one, I won't put it, didn't want to say lovely. There's a very comprehensive book. It's called The Emotion Code, which you can Google and buy. I think there's a Kindle version as well. You can download. And it's also quite old, it's not new. And in this book, it is described how you can work with yourself with muscle tests or some other methods to find and release trapped emotions from your energy system. You can also clear emotions in a daily routine, or not even in a daily routine, in a routine, in a meditation, for example. And that is also something you could do every morning or every night. You can sit down and think about the emotions that came up the past 12 hours or 24 hours. You know, you kind of just quickly go through everything that has happened and see if there was an emotion that kind of caught you off guard, an unexpected emotion, an unexpected happening that was creating an emotion. And once you see it, you can also let it go. Right? You can, for example, take 3 deep breaths and breathe it out. You can create a sound vibration, an om or something like that, to release the emotion. Or you can simply let tears come, because one of the most effective ways of clearing emotions are crying, tears. And it's not a painful way. It's just, you know, it's just the flow of liquids, of these body liquids, allowing also the emotions to flow. And then when you worked on clearing trapped emotions from your system and you came so far, then the most important thing, of course, is not to catch new emotions, right? And so how do you do that? Just to be always aware and in the now. when you're always aware of what's going on around you, you cannot be caught off guard, right? So there's a lovely metaphor. It's not a metaphor. It's probably just a story from a Zen Buddhist who were teaching the students to be in the now and not being off guard by when they are in the meditation. He was going around the backs of them with a stick, and once in a while he would take the stick and hit one of the students on the head. And the ones who were aware, they catch the stick, and once we're not aware, they have been hit. And that was that was the way the Zen master taught the students to be aware of the moment. And you can only be there when you're in the now. Then you will be aware of everything that's going on around you. There is this phenomenon that we are so-called lost in thoughts, and it's kind of like the human experience that we find ourselves constantly lost in thoughts, right? When we are lost in thoughts, we are not aware of our environment. It's impossible. We are lost in thoughts. The subconscious is on autopilot, steering us through with conditioned belief systems, steering us through whatever we go through, and we are not aware. So if something happens, somebody is all of a sudden unfriendly or gives us a fright, like children likes to startle people. These are becoming trapped emotions. So the best thing is not to trap new emotions by training throughout your journey of self-realization to stay aware and in the moment. So not to trap new emotions, but if you have to release them instantly. Okay. So we stopped. Here is now Shakti. Wonderful. So we were afraid you were falling asleep. Ah.
I can always hear you anyways because I have the
That's fantastic.
earpiece, even if I'm in the bathroom. So I heard you saying, I hope she's not asleep.
Yeah. So now it's good because I just started the recording, so I repeat that anyhow. We were talking about trapping emotions and how to avoid to trap the emotion to start with. And the method of choice is to be aware when they come. So on the way to self-realization, you are becoming or making it a habit to observe yourself, because that's the best way to realize, where you are at, what your thoughts are, and to look deeper behind them to what is truth. So when you are on the path, that's what you actually do. You are observing yourself a lot closer than other people would do, if they would do it to start with. And you would also observe emotions that come. And some would be quite habitual, like some, how some people trigger always the same emotions in us, right? And when you observe yourself and your reaction to it, then you're also aware of the emotions. And you can release them right away. You can release them by being aware of them and letting them pass through your system with the help of your breath, your intention, and some meditation techniques like observing them passing through your system like clouds through the sky. So that's the most effective way to deal with it. However, if an emotion has caught you and you have a daily or a weekly routine to release your trapped emotions, then they will come up. Because when you start with releasing trapped emotions from your system, there will come old emotions will come up. Some are actually even inherited from your parents or your ancestors even. So this is very close related to family constellation already there. And as more as you do the work, as more you clear it, as obviously more obvious it is that only the recent emotion come up, which is a good sign. And then so also the emotions you're trapping very recently, they can they can be cleared quite easily and they are found quite easily and be cleared. So any question to trapped emotion before we go on? All clear? Good. Okay, now we come to lacatosis. Anybody has looked up in the break, has Googled it? No. Okay. I wonder whether you found it.
We had enough time to pee and eat, and that's all.
I wonder, actually, I have never actually Googled it. I wonder whether you found it. So what is this term meaning and where do I have it from? I have it from some teachings of Ramta. I don't know whether that rings a bell to you. Ever heard? Okay, it's not important. And he was saying that we're all suffering from lacatosis, which is the disease of always feeling something is lacking, right? We always feel that we don't have quite enough. And I love this term, and this is why I want to use it, lacatosis. So lacatosis is basically a severe neediness that is common in each and one of us. It's kind of the human condition, that we always feel a lack. And as more unconscious we are walking through, as more lacatosis we have. And then you hear, or you hear these conversations between two people in the bus or the neighbors or whatever. They are constantly ranting about what they need, what they don't have, what they wish they have. It's all a sign of lacatosis. So it's a need to be, but on a very deep level, and obviously everybody's talking about object in lacatosis, but what they really want to say is they are in need of love, they are in need of acknowledgement, they are in need of acceptance. Hang on, I forgot to share the screen. They are in need of, wait. Let me just do that. So they are in need to be seen, they are in need to be wanted, and at the bottom, it all boils down to they are in need to be needed. And that is also the trap you can fall in when you are doing the work with family constellation facilitating. You can experience this deep need to be needed, which is just lacatosis. Let's face it, yeah? So everything which is less than happiness and freedom is lacatosis. And I like this because it is a disease and it can be cured like a disease, really. Right? There is a cure. And the cure is the way and the destiny of your journey. Because inevitably, lacatosis will be eliminated when you are self-realized, because then you realize you have everything, and you always had everything, and you will always have everything that ever will be needed for your life. And that's the beauty, that you will overcome this disease just by itself. This is why you don't need to work on it other than be aware of lacatosis in your life whenever it comes up, and just smile or laugh about it, because it's quite funny. When we do the work as a family constellation facilitator, there is a trap everybody eventually falls into, that you get addicted to the group experience and you start to need the group. And that is very interesting, because Bert Hellinger has revealed that the group always stands for, now you might know it in a family system, Anybody? Hands up. What does a group stand
For a family?
for? A particular family member, which
Mother.
is, yes, the mother. So the group is always representing the mother. So if you find somebody is needing the group experience is a mother topic. So again, work with the mother. That's one thing. If you have somebody who is afraid of the group, and you find this, they want to come to one-on-one session, they do not want to come to the workshop, they're afraid of their mother. Right. When you find people who love to go on group experiences, which is, all kinds of sorts of gatherings, they feel the need of the mother, but they are not addressing it towards the mother. Instead, they are taking the group. Once there was a workshop, it was a medium sized one. I think we were 30 people or so. And I think Sophie Hellinger was facilitating. There was a lot of trainees on the workshop as well. And one was somehow getting so enraged, I don't remember what it was, not important, that she had to send them away. And what he was so enraged about was the group. He was attacking the other participants. He was yelling at them or what, I don't remember. It was quite bad. So she had to send him out of the room. And when he was out of the room, she asked us, at whom is he really angry? And the answer was his mother. He was really angry at his mother. And when you do the work of family constellation, everybody who is participating in this workshop is very close to the family system, obviously, because we're inviting the field to work with it. So these experiences will all come up more than in other situations, as if you are having a meeting at the golf club or something, another group, which has not such a high energy and is so open to the morphic field. Yeah, so this is when you have somebody interacting with the group as such, in any way, be aware that in truth, this person is interacting or avoiding to interact with the mother and interacting with the group instead.
Can I give an example? Funny
yes,
example.
Please. Yes.
So there's a company that I am sort of connected with in terms of they send clients to me when needed. So I know a few of the workers at the company, and it's a health company, and they have people who live all over the country, and they all get together for a business meeting once every 3 months. And a couple of weeks ago, I got four of the employees all contacted me individually. Some of them I didn't know. Actually, most of them I didn't know. All for consults within days of this business meeting. And when I did consults with them, all of them started with, "I hate groups, and we had to go to Wellington for blah blah blah." And there was all this fallout that had happened over the days of the business meeting. And the thing that blew me away was that all of them had issues with their mothers. All of them had terrible relationships with their mothers. And I didn't know most of the people that contacted me. I was hearing the same story about the relationship with their mother. I was like, my God, what's happening here? But now I understand. Yeah. So
That's
they all got
amazing,
together. There was fighting, and there was jealousy, and there was, choosing one over another, and there was all this in-house kind of scrapping, like playground scrapping with these women who were 50 or 60, in their 50s or 60s, and it all for all of them brought up their childhoods with their mothers.
Yeah.
Thanks for enlightening me on that. I wondered what that phenomena was.
That's it. That's it. That's exactly, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. That's exactly what it is. The group is representing the mother. So that's an order of love, another order that was discovered by Bert Hellinger, and once you know it, you can deal with it. Easy. So when you have somebody in a client situation like Tracy has, complaining about the group, then you can just put up a representative for the mother and say, look at her, look at her, complain to her, and then it's not possible. And then you can start the work as we do, and we will repeat it over and over again, so that becomes second nature, how to work with the mother. It's always the same. And you do it with yourself, you do it with others, it's always the same. It will always, the first thing that comes up with somebody who comes to the family constellation, it's always, if you don't know how to deal with a client who hasn't done a lot of family constellations before, mother, mother, mother. Yeah. And even if you think, oh my gosh, that's so boring, it's not. It's necessary. Yeah. Okay, so what comes after lacatosis? Troubleshooting. Okay, so remember when I have often said in this module, I talk about that later, there's one exemption to the rule. And now we're coming to the exemption. Okay. And it's all under troubleshooting. Because there are lots of challenges in the family constellation situation, of course, that you're going to face. But there are 3 severe challenges which will come up and which can be solved. And most of the little challenges, they are, when you look closer, all falling under one of the categories of the 3. And the first one is mentally impaired participants. The second one is schizophrenia in a family system. And the third one is family secrets. And we look at each of these now in greater detail. So you know about it, and then you will see it if it comes up in a constellation. So, signs of a mentally impaired person in a family constellation workshop is, and all of them are normally they have most of them, if not all, not only one, right? So, can't comply with the rules. That's one sign. Is, for example, unable not to talk. Second, demands your attention. Right? Somebody who always needs to talk to you, maybe wants to sit as close as possible and always talk to you, instead of raising the hand and asking proper questions. Running in and out of the room in a constellation as a representative, or sitting on a chair as a group member. They cannot sit still. They take over a role without being asked. They feel they have to jump in a constellation. They feel called, connected. And remember, it's not one of these. One of all these on the list can happen for good reason in a constellation, right? And you don't need to be worried. That's not a problem. But if one person has most of these, then you're dealing with a mentally impaired person, right? Claims to not be able to get out of a role. Now, when I was starting with family constellation, facilitating, I was always in fear. I had people as a representatives who cannot get out of a role, and I won't be able to assist them properly to get out of a role, and they will be one with this representative for the rest of their lives, things like that. I can assure you from my experience that is not true. A normal person has no problem when you say, we leave it here, thank you, get out of your role, sit back, to do exactly that. Yeah. Only the few mentally impaired person claim to have a problem to do that. However, it's not a real problem, and it's not a problem you can or need to solve, right? Then what happens is that they are either over-identifying with the role, or they want your attention. They want to be the one that somebody cares about, you know. However, if that is if this person has none of the signs, only the one that claims to cannot come out of a role, we will talk about that, how to do that then actually, right? That can happen, happens not very often though. If you do a family constellation facilitating properly, that won't happen, right? So you don't need to worry about that. The more kind of advanced version of that is to think that he or she is possessed by the family member that he or she was representing. So feeling is not even a role, it's actually a person or an energy attached to them, right? Hears voices, clear sign of mentally impaired participant, and wants to tell you what to do, knows it always better, right? So of course you can have this odd person, you know, that is in a group and want to rather sit on your chair than on their own, but they have not the other signs, right? So just be aware, these are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 signs. If they have 5 or more, then you have a mentally impaired person, guaranteed. So how do you deal with that? So first of all, if you can, you don't allow them into the workshop because they can't be helped anyhow. This is not a therapy to cure mentally illnesses. Yeah? Be absolutely clear about that. Family constellation is not a therapy to clear any kind of mental disease. It's just not for that. However, if a client comes with this problem as a client, then you can help. So if that's the issue, somebody signs up for a workshop and sits on the chair, now you can look at it. But if somebody comes and claims to be fine, but acts like this, but doesn't want to look at it as an issue, then you can't work with them. And they cannot also not properly represent anybody. So you need to make a decision if such a person appears in your workshop, how to more or less politely tell them to leave. This is why it helps to have the rules clear written out and hanged up somewhere and introduced at the beginning, because if you say nobody talks other than me, no getting in and out while the constellation, no this, no that, and this person is doing that, you have a reason to ask them to leave. With the support of the group, because they are interrupting the group and the work that everybody came to do so and paid for, right? And don't wait too long. Well, you have to, at one stage, you have to make a decision, because this is quite ruining the workshop if this is continuing like this. Okay, while we are at it, I like to give you some ideas how to deal with a person who is in a representative role and after the constellation is finished feels like they are still in the role. And that can happen. It's not very often. So what you do with this person, you can make a constellation, and that's what you do, because we are there and working with the methods of family constellation. So everything we look at, we are using family constellation. So you would make this a constellation. So you would place this person who cannot get out of the role in the room and ask a representative to represent the representative he thinks he cannot get rid of. You know? So they are already 2. And then you make a constellation to see what's going on. And most likely there's only something that like you say thank you, you know, to put them apart so they can go. Huh? That each say to the other thank you. And then that would be the solution, the resolution, and then this person will not feel like it's still in the role, obviously. So that would be this one. You could also do a meditation with this person. You can ask him to sit next to you on the chair, you know, do a guided meditation, see the representative, say thank you, see him going away back to his family system, you know. So whatever feels right in the moment, you can deal with that. Okay, any questions to this? Good. Okay, so next one is schizophrenia. Now we are not talking about a participant who is schizophrenic. They will not come to your family constellation because they are not drawn to this work at all. So in my practice, I never had a schizophrenic in the workshop. It doesn't seem to resonate. But what happens is that you see schizophrenia in a constellation, in a family system. And that can cause trouble. Because what happens is that you have no idea what's going on and how to go from there. So just imagine a family constellation. You work with like 3 generations, for example, and all of a sudden there's a person. And what is it doing? We talked about that. There's a body language to tell you that's schizophrenia. Remember? Yes. Mariella, they're going in circles. They're running around in circles. Either in small circles around themselves, or they are surrounding a group or a person, or they are going in circles. Sometimes they're only doing the head, but then if you let them do the head, they will eventually start to go in circles. So that's a sign of schizophrenia. And remember, we talked about that. The cause of schizophrenia in the family system is an entanglement with 2 different dynamics that are opposing each other. So they cannot be solved, so to speak. Right? So schizophrenia is nothing which you can clear in a family constellation. That is kind of beyond the work, right? So when this happens in the constellation, then you have to break it up. And don't explain it. Don't say, oh my gosh, this is schizophrenia. We are not, because nobody would understand that. You just see it, you break it up, you know you can't do anything. You say, thank you, that is it. We leave it here. That is enough. Break it up, go to the chair, choose another person for that. So when the client comes to you and said, so what was it, and why did you break it up, and if you want to know all of this, it's up to you to say, well, there's obviously a case of schizophrenia in your family system, and this we cannot solve. Or if you just say that it just doesn't go anywhere, you know, up to you how comfortable you feel to go into details. And I'm not talking about a clinical diagnosis. We are not doing clinical diagnosis. But Hellinger calls this case a schizophrenia. He was a psychotherapist, and that's what we do. We are not diagnosing this family, right? We are just using this term to know what we are dealing with, and to know that we are leaving it there, and not trying to put around there. What because I have an example. I had I have a client who likes to come to family constellations here in the yurt, and he came quite frequently over a time period, and every single time he was constellating, regardless what his issue was, there was this third generation with his schizophrenia. Came up every single time. And nothing really moved. And so one day when he wanted to come again, I asked him, no, that was I then said to him in COVID, I said to him that I have now put everything online, family constellation virtual, have a look, sign up for a workshop there. And then he said to me, I don't think I'm going to do that. And I said, oh, wow, why not? That's really powerful. Every participant found it really powerful to do it virtually. You know, it's not lesser than you know, in person. And then he said, oh, maybe, but that's not is not what he really wants. He said to me, he really likes this kissing and hugging, which he doesn't get in a virtual workshop, obviously. So here you go. Schizophrenia in the family system. You cannot solve it. And he knows it. He's not even coming for a solution. Only for kissing and hugging. Right? So that was really interesting. So I learned from this feedback that it is accurate to say the persons who are dealing with schizophrenia in the family system are actually not looking for solutions. And this is also why you will very unlikely ever have somebody who has schizophrenia sitting in the chair with you, because they don't come for a solution.
Can I give an example again?
Yes, please. Yes, go ahead.
So I've got a client who I've known for a long time, and she's in her 50s, late 50s, and her mother committed suicide when she was 9. She was the only daughter, and she found her. And she was raised after that by housekeepers and so on, because her father was a doctor and very busy and worked all the time, so she had a pretty isolated life after that. She had a daughter who is about 27 now, and she is looking like she's becoming schizophrenic over the last, after going through dance academy and so on in Sydney. And going and experiencing stuff through there, she's sort of becoming schizophrenic in her behavior and getting worse and worse. And she was one of the people that I did a sort of a spontaneous constellation with the other day. And I don't know whether this is going to be helpful, but the consequence of both the consult and the constellation that occurred over the hour was that she had seen herself responsible for her mum, so she'd put herself in the, you know, out of order mum, and she'd had a child. She said, that she'd had a child to hopefully have love, and then because her daughter was developing strong schizophrenic behaviour, and she's the only daughter, that she had completely surrendered to her daughter and did everything her daughter demanded. So she'd kind of gone out of order with her mum and out of order with her daughter. She'd become the child with her daughter and was asking something of her, and she, wanted to parent her mother. And so when we did the constellation, it was with her mum, and she was able to say please for the first time, and kind of actually get a sense of that disorder. So I'm kind of hopeful, because I remembered what you said about the fact that schizophrenia is to do with the, two entanglements there. And so I kind of think, oh, well, it's a good place to start, at least to get her to see that she, it's not actually looking at schizophrenia or anything like that. It's just actually looking at her placement in that.
That's a very interesting case, Tracy. Thank you for sharing. This cases to share is awesome, is excellent, because we learn a lot from it. So what you have shared is that you worked with a mother who is not schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And you also were not looking at the ancestral family system, and you didn't see a schizophrenic there, but there was a diagnosis of the daughter of your client with schizophrenia, right? So interestingly is that the daughter doesn't seek help.
No. Oh,
That's
she does. She does from me. She's been a client of mine for a long time. Yeah.
The daughter. For the schizophrenic?
For her life, she's been on my books for about 22 years.
And you have diagnosed her with schizophrenic?
No, but
No.
she's in the mental health system. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So we see. So we see how it goes. So in somebody who is really schizophrenic would probably not ask for help. You would see. It's probably, I don't know, a mild form, or is probably will in the future be diagnosed differently. And what you could see if you work for her with a family constellation, you watch out for schizophrenic in the ancestral line. Yeah, that's what you want to see, because then you know the dynamic that she's taking that over.
I suspect it was the grandmother.
But
she wasn't diagnosed either, but she was really unwell and spent a lot of time, away from the family. She'd go away for 2 or 3 months to be medicated, and she had electric shock treatment, and
yeah.
So she was pretty unwell. But I don't know if she was ever given a diagnosis of schizophrenia. So it's felt like the daughter has taken on the grandmother's.
Yeah. So you don't need to know diagnosis when you work with family constellations. It's probably not even, it's probably guiding you astray, because you want to connect with the field and go purely with the information of the family system. So as least information you have, as better, actually. And when you work with this client, meaning the daughter, and she wants you to do a family constellation for her, then watch out for the signs in 2, 3, 4 generations before for schizophrenia, to be sure. You can see that. So obviously, when we talk about schizophrenia, we're not talking about helping people with schizophrenia. Well, how do we know? That's not our point. Our point is that when we are facilitating a family constellation and schizophrenia appears, be aware nothing's going to move. Somebody will turn in cycles, nothing else will move, nothing. And whatever you do, and you couldn't do it for 2.5 hours, you will not come to a solution. So you better stop it when you see it, right? That would be my best advice. Okay. The next one is trouble caused in a family constellation, a family secret. And this is actually quite nice, as opposed to schizophrenia or in mentally impaired client or participant. A family secret is actually something which is quite nice to have in a family constellation. So at first, it is not nice, because you have the same, it looks the same as schizophrenia. So what you have is a constellation where you often have lots of people standing in the constellation, but no dynamic, nothing is moving. It is like you can't believe it. You ask people, they say, I don't know, no, I'm okay here, and they don't want to move, and they don't want to look at each other, and they're just nothing, and there's no body language, and nothing is obvious, nothing you can work with. This is this kind of constellations where you get Albträume, nightmares, nightmares from in the night before the constellation workshop. What to do. It could be a schizophrenic, but the good sign is there would be a schizophrenic who's going around in circles. So after a while, you would see. If this is not happening, then you have the more pleasant situation of a family secret. And because in a not, how can I put it, if you're not following the method of Bert Hellinger and family constellations, you might not detect it, right? And you might not find it as such. So this is why it often remains unsolved, right? But you, being thoroughly trained, you will certainly, in this situation, suspect a family secret. And so what to do? And one, before we go on what to do, however happens in family constellations, even if you don't know what it's about and you break it up, because that's ultimately what you do, right? Sometimes it does continue to work after the constellation and find its own way to resolve the situation outside of the family constellation workshop. However, if you want to speed it up and you want to give it a go in the family constellation workshop, then what you do is you add a representative for the secret. So you ask you ask a representative to come up. You ask somebody who's sitting in the group to come up and put and place this in the family constellation without telling anybody what that is, who that is. You're not telling anybody who is this representing, but you know it's the family secret. And then you observe only this person. Only this person. And this person who is representing the family secret, who does not know it is representing the family secret, only you knows that, will do something that is revealing. It will, for example, go to one person of the constellation and stand by this one person closely. And then you know that this person is actually carrying the family secret. And then you can start to work with this person, with this representative. And you know how to work. We learned it all. You start with acknowledging what it. You would let this person say, "I know the secret," or "I'm the only one who knows the secret." And then you would see that this person is relieved, smiling often, and all the other persons, or most of the other persons, will also be relieved, because they probably has suspected, and now it's out in the open and everything, and then you can take it from there. The dynamic will show somehow. Maybe the family secret is not going to anybody, stands on its own, so nobody knows it. Then you need to find another representative who is actually the carrier of the family secret, a family member who was not in there yet. So this is how you find how you find the door, so to say, the entrance to this family system, and to start to find the dynamics that needs a shift. I had an interesting constellation. I was after years, I was going to a constellation myself, and also online. And I've been asked, and one wanted to constellate, and there was a constellation going on, and I've been asked to be the family secret, so representing. So I did that, and it was lovely to feel how a family secret feels, which is, as such, it is. It feels very comfortable, very, has no problems. Also very unemotional, actually. It's very comfortable, very, very, and is clearly drawn only to one person. That was very interesting. because there's normally this one person who is the source of the secret, who has done something which this person hides. So, family secrets. So, any questions to that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you've put up the family secret and it doesn't go to anyone in particular, and then you put up another representative for the person who knows the secret. Then what happens?
Then you see, because you have assigned this role to this representative.
So you tell them you're the person who knows a family. You are
No,
representing
you assigned
someone.
it in your mind. You don't.
Okay.
You don't need to talk, but
So you
they
just
don't
get
need to
two
know,
representatives.
But you know. Yeah.
Okay.
But you know. And you put this next to the secret, obviously, because that is now the person who knows the secret. So obviously, they will know each other, right? And then through this facing the knowledge or facing it, something will happen. Some dynamic will take place. Not necessarily with these two persons, that's not what I say, but in the rest of the family constellation. Because remember, the problem is nothing is moving. So you can't find a dynamic. You don't know what, you don't know with whom to work with. That's what drives you nuts. But with adding the family secret and maybe the carrier of the secret, you will get movement. Yeah, and then take it from there, whatever it is, we don't know, because it comes genuinely from the family constellation.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
Do you from all your experience, do you find that you can identify that pretty quickly?
Yes.
With you, can you see quite quickly that there's actually no dynamic, that there's a stuckness in the dynamic pretty quickly?
I would see it very quickly. However, I wouldn't expect you to see that very quickly.
No.
But take your time, that's fine.
But the more you do it, the more you can recognize there's kind of a energy that occurs in any family around a secret being held. Yeah. Do you think that secrets want to be revealed?
Oh, that's a good question. So, when I was the secret in the family constellation, I didn't mind. I didn't want to reveal it. The person I went to was the one. I felt very neutral as a family secret. I didn't have the urge to reveal or not to reveal. I felt very comfortable, whatever. But the person who is assigned this family secret to, who is actually the carrier of the secret, I think there was an urge to reveal it. Yes, to be seen.
Do you think the family system wants the secret to be revealed?
That's the one. Yes. This is why it comes up. This is why it comes up in a family constellation. Otherwise, it wouldn't be guided towards that. The family system thinks it's time, for this healing to take place through revealing their secret. And revealing a secret doesn't mean that you know what actually happened. That's not the revelation. The revelation is that a dynamic is set into motion that was, so to speak, through invisible threads, held captive by the family secret. It doesn't need to be related, right? And as always, we don't need to be curious in a family constellation. We really don't need to know in the end what actually happened, 4 generations ago. Sometimes it's completely obvious, and sometimes not. It has always to do with life and death. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a problem. In the family soul, a trauma is only imprinted if it's a life and death situation, or a near-death situation, or a severe, severe disadvantage situation, which will almost lead to death, things like that. The lesser problems are normally not kept by the family system as a trauma. in the memory. Okay, good. Right, I think, yes, we are through. Fantastic, this is module 4. So I stop sharing. Here we are back. So that was the teaching content of module 3. How are you going with this? Good. Wonderful. Right, it's a good time to ask questions, or if you want me to repeat something or deepen something. I know, and I wanted you to remind me that we wanted to consolidate something.
Mother.
Here we go. And we do have time for that. Let me just check. What's the time? Yeah, we have enough time to do that. But anyhow, we could also just wrap up the module. Okay, super. No questions. I mean, you watch the you watch the recordings, and then you have maybe questions, and then you write it in your notebook. And then we talk about that, because we're gonna have a gathering next Sunday in the morning, so Nam Shakti Saturday afternoon for you, as always, where it's a great time. I will send the recordings out in the next few days, and you have enough time to repeat them. And write down your questions. And also, I think about a date for our first exercise workshop. And I was thinking, to make it more comfortable for Nam Shakti, we have maybe a Sunday morning, so it's a Saturday afternoon for Nam Shakti. Yeah? Would that be good? Yeah. Okay. We might even do it next Sunday.
I can't do anything until Labor Day. I'm away until Sunday night.
When is Labor Day?
Monday, next Monday.
Ah, okay. Away means outside of internet.
No, but I'm away with people. I can't come away from. Yeah.
Well, however, we have our gathering on Sunday anyhow, so it's just half an hour. And then maybe we go. Well, I see. I have to check my diary when we can do the workshop.
We can do in November, maybe. Looks
It is so much, yeah. November's coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a workshop in November, an open workshop. We could actually do the exercise workshop at the same day. Anybody knows what time this workshop is up?
The workshop is at 9 until 12.
So it's in the morning.
Yeah, it's 3 hours, Sunday.
What day?
Saturday, huh?
Sunday 1st November.
Sunday. Is that a Sunday?
Yeah, Sunday 1st.
Oh yeah, 9 till 12.
Yeah, that's the workshop.
Yeah.
So we might, I don't know, we could do one from 2 to 5 or something on the same day. How's that? Yeah. Oh no, hang on. We have to think about Nam Shakti. That's gonna be 9 to 5. No, that's okay for you, isn't it?
I think I will be away this weekend.
No, you're not. Your mother's coming to the workshop, and
Yeah, but I am taking the workshop from another place. I will be traveling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will be in the workshop, but it's gonna be difficult after the workshop showing you for a practice, because I have to drive back to Wellington.
Okay.
So could be probably the weekend, the following weekend, November.
I can't do that.
Look,
No?
we're coming into trouble if we try to accommodate everybody. It's gonna be difficult. I think I just have to.
Don't worry about me.
No, I'm not
Don't
worried
worry
about you. No.
Okay, in the time, I'll wake up. I mean,
I know you're really good, but if we can, we make it fit, definitely. It's not a matter of the time at the moment; it's a matter of the day. Right? Okay, let's not think about that now. Let's.
Can I ask what time we're meeting next week for the Sunday? You know, just catch 10ish.
10 o'clock.
Was okay. Yep. Was there a set
10
time?
to 10:30. Yeah.
10 o'clock.
I will send you a Zoom link.
Okay.
Okay, right. So let's spend the next half hour with our mothers. We can, I think we make an exercise where we are 6. Okay, we start with an exercise. So we go in pairs. So I just pair you the way I see you on my screen. So it's not has no meaning. So I pair Mariella and Kate, Tracy and Nam Shakti, and I go with Ale. Okay, and we're making the exercise with the mother is as follows. One is the mother, one is the daughter, and then you swap roles. So everyone is for everybody, the mother and the daughter. So for example, Mariella is the daughter, is Kate, sorry. Mariella is representing Kate, and Kate is representing her own mother. Yeah? And then is Mariella the mother, and Kate is the daughter. Yeah? And then you swap, and then Kate is Mariella, and Mariella is Mariella's mother. And then Mariella is Mariella, and Kate is Mariella's mother.
Okay.
Understood? Sounds complicated, but it makes sense. Ale?
I want to say today is Argentinians Mother's Day, so happy Mother's Day for everyone.
Oh, wow.
That's wonderful.
That's crazy.
So amazing. The field is working again. Crazy. Thank you, Ale. Wow, that's very uplifting. Okay, so same Tracy and Nam Shakti. You don't need to unmute yourself because you're not talking, you're saying the sentences silently because I will do them loud and you repeat them silently, right?
Okay.
So, and it's better when you're unmuted because there is a lot of background noise if my voice is coming through your screen and then back into your mic. Mariella.
How do we know who we are representing first? Like what relationship?
Aha. Okay, how do we know that? We talk about that now and then you know it, okay? So, Mariella and Tracy, you start. So it's about your family. That's what I mean. You are looking at, so you are looking at yourself in regards to your mother, and you are also representing your mother. You have 2 roles, one after another. So the first role is you are representing yourself, and Nam Shakti and Kate are your mothers. And then you say thank you like this when you're done to your partner. Yeah, thank you. And then you go in the other role where Tracy and Mariella are representing their mothers. And Kate and Nam Shakti are representing them. You can write that down and tick it off so you don't forget. So then you say thank you when you're done. And then the same exercise is with Nam Shakti and Kate's family. So first, Nam Shakti and Kate represent themselves, and Tracy is Nam Shakti's mother, and Mariella is Kate's mother. Yeah. And then when you're done, you say thank you, and then you are swapping roles. And Nam Shakti is representing her mother, and Tracy is Nam Shakti. And Kate is representing her mother, and Mariella is Kate. And obviously Alice is doing this. I'm not doing it, so Alice is doing that just once. So Ale, you are at the first round representing yourself, and in the second round you're representing your mother, and then the next 2 rounds you don't need to do anything while I'm talking everybody through the next round. Yeah? Whoa, that sounds complicated, but it should work. Okay, understood? Okay. Okay, so now you focus and look in your partner's eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. And you can begin with closed eyes or open eyes, it's up to you. When you're ready, you open your eyes. And in your own time, find the eyes of your mother. And look your mother in the left eye. Only in the left. And if you wear glasses, probably take them off for this exercise. And continue breathing, looking your mother in her left eye. And allow everything that comes up to come up through the breath. And then you look your mother in the right eye. Only in the right eye. Right is this side. And breathe deeply. Just watching, observing, connecting, no judgment. Nothing to think about really. And then make yourself, being the daughter, really small. See yourself becoming smaller and smaller, younger and younger. And then look up to the mother again if you have missed her eyes. Find the eyes, both of the eyes. And then say silently or aloud, please, Mom. Please. Say it in your native language, the language of your mother tongue, the language you are speaking or have been speaking with your mother. And if you have a cushion or pillow or a toy next to you, being the daughter, you can grab it now and hug your mom, the legs of your mom, because you are too small. Hug her whole body. That's it. Very good. And the mothers, they can put their hands on the shoulders or the head of the daughters. And deep breathing. Breathe all the love of the mother in. She holds nothing back. You just need to receive it. And then just come up. Find the eyes of your mother again. And stay in this energy. Let it continue um, to expand. While you're saying thank you to your partner and swap roles. So now the daughter is the mother. And the daughter, make sure, has a pillow. And then take a couple of deep breaths. And when you're ready, open eyes. And look the mother in the left eye. Only in the left eye. Breathe in and out. Nothing to think about. Nothing to find or discover. Just connect with the soul to the left eye. And then swap and look into the right eye. Only the right eye. And let all the thoughts that come up, or memories, or pictures, just pass through your mind like clouds in the sky. There's nothing to think about in this moment, only to connect to the mother. And then think of the daughters, think of yourself being small, really small, younger, younger. And look up to the mother and hug her legs, hug your pillow. And breathe in and out mother's love. And the mother is open like a channel, channeling the love of all the mothers in the family. Unconditional love. They expect nothing from the child other than to be happy and free. Giving life to the child is enough. Nurturing it, navigating it through danger zones, so it can take over its own life when it's ready and be safe to find their own path to happiness and freedom. Then the mothers place a hand on the head or the shoulders of the daughter. And the daughters are saying, please, please, mom, please. And then we let the energy expand in this stage for both the mother and the daughters. And you gently come out of the role, saying thank you to each other. And then we swap and working with Kate's and Namshakti's family now. Starting with Kate representing herself and Namshakti representing herself. Tracy is the mother of Namshakti and Mariella the mother of Kate. And then after that, the daughters representing their mothers. Okay. All right. So take some deep breath. You might close your eyes or might leave them open. Just ground yourself, center yourself. And when you open eyes, look your mother in the left eye. Look deep into the soul without any preconception. No memories, no previous experiences. Just a soul meeting another soul. And you breathe deeply in and out. And then you swap and look into the right eye of your mother. Deeply breathing in and out. Letting thoughts pass through the mind. Nothing is worth thinking about. They are just background noises. And then imagine yourself to be small, the daughters, really small, younger, much younger. And then look up to your mom and say, please, in your native language, please, mom. Just simple, please. And then hug her legs, grab your pillow. And let the love flow from heart to heart, receiving all the mother's love. Deep breathing. And then slowly come out. With mom in the eye. Stay in this energy of gratitude and connection. While you come slowly out of the roll, saying thank you. And then swapping the roles. So you are presenting your own mothers, Kate and Namshakti. And Mariella, you are Kate, and Tracy, you are Namshakti. Start with a couple of breaths to collect and center yourself. And then the daughters look in the left eye of the mother. Only in the left eye. With a deep breathing and no words, no emotions. And then look into the right eye, into the right eye of your mother. Deep breathing, and deep into the soul. There's no memories, just a soul meeting a soul. And then the daughters, imagine yourself to be small and young, very small. And from your position, look up to your mother and say from the depths of your heart, please, Mom, please. And if you wish to, you can hug your mom at the legs, grabbing your pillow. The mothers can put their hands on the head or shoulders of the daughters. And you breathe in mother's love. And the mothers channeling all the love of their mothers and the mothers before through their hearts, through their hands, into the body of the daughters to nourish them, keep them safe, allow them to grow up safely, to find their own path to happiness and freedom. And then slowly in your own time, leave the energy there, let it expand, and come out of your roles and say thank you to each other. And I want to quote Tina Turner here. She says in her lovely song Beyond, the greatest moments in our lives is when we allow us to teach each other. And in this way, I like to say goodbye to you. Thank you for being on this training module. Have a good night, and I see you next Sunday. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.